Hello, my name is Flo, and this is the Grape Jelly Library, where we love to talk about books. Today, we are going to talk about a book written by Kathleen Rooney and published in 2017. Any guesses what that book may be? I will tell you in just one moment. But first, I wanted to share some exciting news. My son, my one and only child, has tied the knot. And that's what I've been doing, preparing for a wedding and getting everything ready, making sure everything runs as smoothly as possible, and just enjoying the festivity of the day. I wanted to share my very favorite picture of the bride and groom. This was later on in the evening when everything had calmed down and they just had time to just be and enjoy themselves. And it happens to be, yes, my favorite picture of them. I just love it. I think they're an adorable couple. I'm just super excited for them, and I wish them all the love, luck, happiness, joy, and success life has to offer. May they have many, many years of wedded bliss. Okay, so now on to the book. The book that I was referring to is Lillian Boxfish Takes a Walk. Has anybody read this? Has anybody maybe wanted to read this and it's still on their TBR? Maybe some of you out there don't even have it on your TBR. Maybe you just have it tucked away in the alcoves of your mind. Well, I am here to tell you, if you are on a teeter-totter, should you read it or shouldn't you? I would say yes, give it a read. I am rating this book 4 stars, and I would like to say right out of the gate that this book would do you better to listen to it as opposed to reading it. I don't mean listen to it audibly. I mean, as you are reading it, listen. Listen to the story that Lillian is telling us. This book was written to bring attention to a poet by the name of Margaret Fishback. And Lillian is loosely based on her. I'm not too familiar with Margaret Fishback, so I don't know how to exactly feel about that. I was getting more of a Katharine Hepburn kind of vibe. Lillian is an octogenarian who decides she's going to reach into the back of her closet and pull out one of her best fur coats, adorn it while she walks the streets of Manhattan in New York to go and fetch herself a cream soda. Now, the streets that she's walking in Manhattan are the shadier streets. And she is being told several times to get off the streets. But because Lillian is free-spirited, upbeat, jovial, positive, she's friendly, she is not heeding this advice. So she sets out on a 10.4-mile walk through her neighborhood. She is not the type of person to wait around for secondhand news. She's more of the type of person to go out there and live life and experience it for herself. She wants to see, how has her city streets changed? How has the times changed since she was a little girl versus being an 85-year-old woman? She encounters all different types and walks of life, from bartenders to chauffeurs to back alley thugs. And it is her belief and her character to put forth the proposition that she would rather treat people with politeness versus prosperity. So, no matter what walk of life you are from, you are going to be treated with respect. Interesting take on a human being. That's not to say that she doesn't have her very own bad thoughts. It's not to say she's not judgmental towards somebody, but she keeps that personal, very, very personal, and to herself. She will not let any kind of judgmental thought in her mind come out her mouth. Only polite things and respectful things will come out of her mouth, regardless of how she's being treated. I kind of like that. I kind of like that a lot. As Lillian is walking through these streets, she can't help but reminisce about the days gone by, her past. At one point in her life, she was the highest paid woman in American advertising. She makes references to the Oreo cookie jingles, and it's just kind of fun to visit the past. I should say that this journey actually takes place, interestingly enough, on the last day of 1984. So we get to go back in time ourselves and reminisce and revisit what politics were, what songs were kind of hip at that time, maybe attire that we wore at that time. So that is very fun, I thought. I thought that was, a nice little thing to go and revisit some things we forget. And it's just nice to recollect on them. So she's walking the street. She's recalling her life. As I said, highest paid woman in American advertising. Macy's. She worked for Macy's. And it was a very short-lived career, as she gave it up for marriage and motherhood, which, spoiler alert, but not too much of one, because I think it is revealed. If you research this book, I do think it's revealed somewhere along the line that she, after the marriage and the motherhood, she does experience divorce and then a breakdown. So it definitely is taking us through all the facets of Lillian's life. There was a sad moment in the book, but her being the upbeat person that she is, we get through it. So, no worries, we get through it. Now, I love the story of a person's life, and Lillian Boxfish is definitely telling me her story and taking me on this lovely journey through the streets of Manhattan. We're visiting everything that Lillian is recalling as she walks these streets. And interestingly enough, it is said that when you can walk the same streets over and over and over and have a different experience each and every time. And that is the case with Lillian in this. It's all about perspective and mindset and, how naive we might be setting out on a walk, as the day starts to go on and maybe the sun starts to set, and now our mind might shift into a different vibe. And so although it's the same street, we might feel a little bit more uneasy, and have a totally different experience on our journey back. Very interesting book, very interesting perspectives, very fun journey. It's a, at times, downtrodden journey, but that's life. It is what it is. Like I said, this book is not a book that you read. It is a book that you listen to. It is a book that you jump in the pages. It's almost as if I open this book up and you step inside and you go down the steps, and now we are in the story. It is very, very cool, and I enjoyed it tremendously. If you have read this, comment below. Let me know, what did you think of it? And if you haven't read it, comment below and let me know, will you be reading it? If you want to get away from your own reality, and step into somebody else's world, this is definitely the book for you. And also, I will say it till the cows come home, as we age, as we learn, I believe it is not our duty to forcefully bestow this knowledge on our youth, but we should, when we get opportunities, share our knowledge with those who are seeking. So I don't think we should take our knowledge to the grave with us. I'm talking about, if you know how to can, pass that information on to the next generation. Don't let it be a dying art form. If you know how to sew, teach a youngin' how to sew. If you quilt or crochet, or if you are an expert painter, you know a thing or two about painting, share that knowledge in a kind and gentle way. Don't force this on somebody, and don't lecture somebody, but take that opportunity to get closer with somebody, share your knowledge, and form a bond. Whether you're 85 teaching a 12-year-old, 85 teaching a 40-year-old, whether you're 40 teaching a 30-year-old. That's my whole vibe. I love to learn, and my son has taught me a thing or two. I love to learn. So I never try to have the mindset of, well, I'm older than you, so clearly I know, because that is not the case. This generation, they know a thing or two. So it goes both ways. I think that the older generation should teach, and I think the younger generation should teach. And then we cannot just be a fountain of knowledge. We can't be a fountain of youth, but we can be a fountain of knowledge. Speaking of, there's a reference in this book that says that Lillian at one point was having a hard time with the future. She didn't want to accept a future. Now she has come to terms with it, and she has realized this is an epiphany. It's not a spoiler, it's an epiphany. There's a difference. She has realized that you cannot run from your future. Sooner or later, your future is going to catch up with you. So she now no longer spends her day killing time until time kills her. She chooses to go out there, live life to the fullest, live life happy, and live life respectfully. I love it. I think it's a wonderful book. I think we need more of Lillian Buxfishes in the world. Until my next video, know that I love you. Be well, be good, and be reading, and may all your book dreams come true.